All right, all right. Waiting for this thing to populate up some little eyeballs. There we go. Oh, what happened to my hair? It just decided to go berserk. Well, okay. Well, that's all right too, because I actually want that, Lisa Rennie look, daytime soap opera person. I never watched soap operas, but I always saw her as being the person who never won anything, but finally did. But I liked her hairstyle. It was cute, and that's what well, she was a lot younger than me. Anyway, welcome to the. Well, let me see something. I have something to kind of lead into this as an opening from now on. I hope I can do this. I'm going to upload a little video to this. Get it from my desktop. So I can just full upload a video. Okay. Go to the desktop. I'm going to upload something. Just give me a second here. All righty. The path forward. Dun, 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 dun. Well, it says upgrade my account. I've got storage is just full apparently, so I have to go through and delete my stuff. So I'll do that later. Okay, how is everyone? Welcome to the Path Forward. This is Cassandra Williamson coming to you from way up in the holler. That's what they call it around here in the local vernacular in eastern Kentucky, right near Hatfield-McCoy feud country. And I just saw Hillbilly Elegy, part of it anyway. I watched about half of it before I got so bored out of my skull I didn't watch the rest of it. But somewhere in there he said his family was related to the Hatfield McCoys. And I'm going to tell you that I did a little digging. And sure enough, we're related to the same bunch of people. So J.D. Vance and I are cousins, distantly. So I just figured I'd throw that out there. And here's the more surprising thing. Well, I am not related to this particular person. My children are. And you're going, how's that? Oh, my wife, ex-wife. Yeah, my ex-wife. She was related to this person distantly as well. As a matter of fact, he carried her family's maiden name. And that would be Robinette. That was Joseph Robinette Biden. They're related too on the Robinette side, going way back to 1685. I think that's probably where they separated off. But anyway, it's just fun. Yeah, I do a lot of family history stuff and digging into things because I find it fascinating, and whenever people go out in town, or when I go out in town or whatever, and I'm talking with people and they'll go, hey, are you related to such and such? And I said, well, are you from around here? They go, yeah. I said, well, we're related. Anyway, that's a wonderful segue right straight into this other bit of relationship stuff that we've got to deal with right now. And that would be John Phelan and Pete Hegseth. They have got a thing for going after the Naval Academy. I mean, Pete does. What is it about the Naval Academy that just draws his ire that he wants to go in there and just toss out everything that helps people understand broad pictures, big picture kind of stuff, throw it all out, as if it were not important. But when the Naval War College was founded back in early part of the last century, I think, I'm not sure the exact date. Anyway, I'll have to dig into that. But when it was founded, we had people whose goal was to instill a broad range of knowledge and scientific expertise in the leadership of the U.S. Navy, and it became more broadly associated with the entire U.S. military because a lot of people from different branches go to the Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island, from different branches and from all around the world. Our allies send people there. Yeah, and we send people out to Monterey, California for the Naval Postgrad School. So you look, they want to roll back the ability for our new and up and coming leaders to be able to think more broadly. They're going after the academic side of things because they say it's too woke for them and not a warrior mentality. Well, I'm going to tell you something. You've got to be able to think broadly. The whole purpose when I went there was they wanted to give us a broad, very broad-based education. We weren't stuck in any one thing. We all had to take courses in history and, literature and English, English and language and all kinds of different things. We were introduced to a host of other things and other fields of interest, and even athletics. When I was going through the prep school, Naval Academy prep school, I was doing things that I'd never done before, but I did it deliberately. I forget what that game is called, but lacrosse, that was it. I went out for lacrosse in the summer when I was in prep school in Rhode Island. I had no clue about that. No clue whatsoever. I went out there, got my tail knocked on the ground a couple of times, and then I didn't make the team, which I knew I probably wouldn't, but I was sure going to try. And then I get into the Naval Academy, and they send me into things like golf. Learn how to at least play golf, to swing the club. Tennis, racquetball. They introduced us to all kinds of different things so that we could be more well-rounded. And there was a purpose behind that. That purpose was so that you could see multiple things. And when you interacted with other senior leaders, or your men or women or your people on your teams, you had a commonality with them. You had something you could talk to them about because, you've been introduced to a lot of things. It didn't make you proficient in any of it. I mean, I went through boxing. I didn't go through. I never had anything to do with boxing. I wasn't going to pound somebody in the ground, but I went through boxing. I forget how long it was. It might have been half a semester or something like that. But anyway, it was fun, and it was very interesting because my final exam in boxing, I can tell you this, my final exam in boxing was, all right, go right there and take on that person and, see if you can get more points. Yeah. Well, they forgot to tell me that my opponent was left-handed. And I had no clue how to deal with a left-handed boxer. I was getting the crap beat out of me. I was pling, pling, pling. I felt like a, whatever you want to call it, bowling pin being knocked around. Those rubber ones, blow up kind. I felt like that. I had to go to the coach and say, Coach, what do I do to counter a left-handed boxer? He gave me the instruction. I couldn't tell you. I don't remember if it was step to the left or step to the right, but he said step to the left or step to the right, whichever one was, and then start punching that way and keep going that way because it throws a left-handed boxer off. And finally, was able to score a couple of points. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was fun. And you had to swim every year. You had to learn how to swim. I mean, you had to do it. You had to pass swimming. That was the one consistent thing through all of it. Obviously, it's the Navy and the Marine Corps. You're going to be around a lot of water. I don't know how you could even possibly think otherwise. But anyway, so you had to do swimming and all of this kind of thing and survival in the water and how to make it if you fell in the water with your uniform on and you throw your pants over your head, tie knots in the legs and splash water on them and get water or air trapped inside the legs and make you a little life raft and float around and all of that. Then the last year they threw a wrinkle in there. You had to be able to stay in the water for 45 minutes, I think it was, and rescue a cinder block on the bottom. Yeah, it was. I think that was the senior year, the first year. I don't recall exactly. It might have been junior year. Anyway, the block thing, it was fun. So we did a lot of different things that I'd never done before. I was never introduced to them. Didn't grow up with them. I surely didn't grow up with lacrosse. And back then, I don't know that there was ever a tennis court around here in the hollers of Eastern Kentucky. There were some golf courses, but the people who went to those we just considered them to be snob, aristocratic, upper class stuff like that. Rarely ever hung out with that bunch. But But anyway, that's the stuff that Pete Hegseth, not just that, but I mean, he's going after literature that he doesn't like, words that he doesn't like, research that he doesn't like, fields of study that he doesn't like. He wants to produce out of the Naval Academy people who look like, sound like, and believe like him. He won't tell you that to your face. He'll never tell you that. But that, and people are going to go, no, he's not like that. He's a good, decent person. Yes, no doubt, a good, decent person. But I do know the power and influence that his religious faith has on his everyday life. You can see it in action. You can see it right now. Every month, prayer service in the Pentagon, organized by Pete Hegseth. Now, what happens when your boss does something like that? There are going to be people who will not attend or go to things like that just out of spite. There are people who will go simply because they want to be seen in the environment that the boss is in, because they figure that might give them some leg up, some advantage. Because if the boss is considering for new promotions and he's thinking about all these applications or these pieces of paper going across his desk for different people doing different jobs, and he remembers you're the one who walked up to him and handed him one of those, coins and said, Mr. Secretary, I'd like for you to have this coin. And thanks for inviting us to the prayer service. And he's going to remember you, and you hope that he'll take that and make a decision based on it. That's what we know. That's how power systems work, folks. That's how it works. That's why it's never a good idea. It's actually forbidden, should be, for a senior leader in the military to be dating a junior officer, because it's a power dynamic. That relationship, you don't know what that relationship really is, because either one or the other of those two are taking advantage of whoever's in power at that point in time and the higher rank. And I know it happens. It happens all the time. But that's the reason why there's so much talk about fraternization in the military. And the Naval Academy, if you're going to go around and take away the things that can cause people to have a broader perspective of things, to be more well-rounded, when they come out of there, they've been introduced to multiple different things, all kinds of ideas. They don't have to take on the ideas, but at least they were introduced to them. I don't think I've played tennis since I left Annapolis. I've played golf, but I haven't played tennis. I've done a lot of swimming since then. Oh, yeah. I've done a lot of that. Oh, geez. Yeah. But at least they introduced me to these concepts, these ideas, these things that I would never have been introduced to. And obviously the first year, they always introduced you to how you should eat in the chow hall, the mess hall. You go in, and as a plebiscite, your freshman year, you walk into that cafeteria, you march into the cafeteria, you go find your seat, and you put your eyes in the boat, and you look straight across at the person at the other side of the table, and you don't look down at your plate. Then you grab your utensils, and they made clear that you understood that it had to be outside in. You work your way outside in. They set it up as a formal kind of thing, usually, sometimes, most of the time, actually. So you use your utensils from the outside in, and then you're going around going, wait a minute, is that the olive fork or is that the salad fork? And what about that stuff over here? See, they introduced me to all those different things that I did not and never would have ever seen here in the hollers of Eastern Kentucky. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. My dad's family were very formal. Dad just didn't take us there very often. He didn't think too highly of that. And Dad, here's something for you too. Dad's dad would have all of his children, and he had 5, 2 by his first wife who passed away, and 3 by his second wife. And they would sit around the dinner table, And he would ask them questions about what they were doing in school and what they read in the newspaper, and ask them to talk intelligently about those topics. That was exactly like what it was like at the tables at the Naval Academy. Oh, that person across the table would say, what'd you read on the front page today? Now Hegseth and Phelan are going to look at that and say, we don't need to be reading those newspapers or reading news stories. I mean, that doesn't build a warrior ethos. And I'm thinking, oh, go to hell, you. Yes, it does. It helps. It helps you think more broadly, to think outside of the box and the silo that you live in. Hegseth and Phelan are wanting you to go, oh, this is the only way to think. You've got to do it this way. Otherwise, you can't be a warrior, macho, machismo warrior. Why do you think you put a Marine in charge of the Naval Academy as superintendent? Just saying. It's never been done before. I mean, it should have been done before, but it's never been done before. He did it because he wants that macho image of a man running this institution of warfare, and not some, as he sees it within his religious views, as being some woman who should be in the house making babies and cooking food. That's Christian dominionism and Christian nationalism, and it's also the Southern Baptists. So that's what they want. Why do you think they picked a Marine to be in charge of the Naval Academy? Because they want to project that image of masculinity and power and war fighting. So they kicked out Admiral Davids. They kicked out Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Lisa Franchetti. They kicked out Commandant of the Coast Guard because she was a woman. I don't remember her name right off. And don't tell me it wasn't because they were women. Yes, it was. That's their religious views, folks. And they believe with all of their heart, their mind, their soul, their body, everything in them. They believe that women have only one place, and that is not in command of warfighters or in the leadership positions like that over a group of men any at all. I mean, it just is so offensive to them. They're really just slimy, weak weasels. The men, Pete Hegseth and John Phelan, Secretary of the Navy. So yeah, I've been pretty irate about this since reading that article this morning. But I already knew that's what was coming, folks. Whenever he wants to put in his approved board of professional reviewers to go over the academic standards at the Naval Academy, to go over the academic literature, to go over the syllabi, to go over the books and stuff that are used. He wants to go over it all. And any book that's got the word gender in it, you can guarantee that it will be kicked out. Or they'll use a black marker and erase it. And how do I know? At the United Nations. Let me just say this about the United Nations. At the United Nations, and any panel the United States teams have been involved in, every single one of them, even if it's talking about helping the Palestinians or helping Israel or helping in Ukraine or doing whatever around the world, helping in Somalia or helping in Sudan, if they mention the word gender, and just at all, the United States refuses to sign it. Every time. That news came out yesterday, I think, and more pointedly today too. They don't want, I mean, if anything has the possibility of mentioning a transgender person or gender and not what they consider to be the definition of a man and a woman, that the executive order of the president put out as an executive order at the very beginning on day one of his administration, they are applying this thing so ridiculously and so religiously across everything. Any interactions with the global community, any interactions with leadership in the military or academia in the country, They are telling everyone, regardless of the fact that academia, for instance, the university systems in the country, they're actually state organized. They're state university systems, like the University of Alabama. That's a state university system. University of Texas, it's a state university system. The federal government only just sends money. But yet, this administration is telling everyone that if you have any of these words in any of your things, we will not send you a dime. And if that does not get under your skin and doesn't kind of pull the wool back over your eyes so that you see what is going on here, I don't know what to say. I'm just at a loss for that one. But I know, I read that stuff about the United Nations, and every time a piece of paper would come out that would require a signature from the United States, if it had the word gender in it in any capacity, they would not sign it. That's how serious they are about erasing trans people. I mean, this is not just a glitch. This is their modus operandi. This is the thing that is driving them right now. So why is that? I think maybe Hegseth wishes that I would go knock on his door and ask him to become transgender or something. Hey, Pete, I can just see it now. Hey, Pete, I've got a proposition for you, buddy. I really think you would make a great transition person over to transgender and become a trans female. What do you think about that? I mean, come on. I mean, you got it right there. Everything that you need is all there. You've been taking all these soy products for years. That's got a lot of phytoestrogenic compounds in it. And no doubt you've got those man boobs, the gynecomastia stuff. I mean, come on. I mean, pull up your shirt. Let me see. And JD Vance. Oh, God, I'd love to do that with him. He's got those eyelashes already. Whew. Oh, my Lord. But I don't want to be accused of grooming because that's the church's job. Sorry. Hey, Jamie, I see you over there. Sorry, hold on a minute. I've just been going on and on, having fun over here. Hi, how are you?
Did you just see my comment?
No, I didn't see your comment. Hold on, let me pull it up. Because the Navy has more LGBTQ than any other services. No.
The one right here where it says "Take a walk on the wild side."
Oh no, I didn't see that one. I don't see that one. It's a private chat. Yeah. Oh, I got you. Okay. Take a walk on the wild side. That's it. That is it. Come on, Pete.
That's right.
And JD's already got the eyes. He doesn't have to go do any kind of facial stuff. He's got it made already. I mean, you'd make a great trans woman there, JD. Come on over, buddy. Come on over. Take a walk on the wild side. And actually, what Junia is saying down here, because the Navy has more service members in that brand of service. Yeah. And because the Navy has more LGBTQ than any other services. Is that right? I was thinking it's the Marine Corps. I got to find out now. Let's see, which?
Well, do you think at this point you'd get an honest answer? If you ask anybody that was on active duty, you think you'd get an honest answer?
You might just with the LGB. Maybe,
well, but I don't think you would anymore either. I think everybody sees the writing on the wall. Sooner or later, it's going to be them.
Yeah, exactly. And they know that's how this stuff works right now. I mean, what the Trump administration is doing at the UN, what they're doing at, What's that?
We're just the first.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that there were more lesbians in the Marine Corps, but I'm not certain. Let's see what Gemini has to say about this. Which branch of service, of U.S. service, has more LGBTQ plus? I'm gonna put them all in there and just see what service members. Okay, let's see what Gemini says. Somebody asked Groik or whatever Grok. I'll go on X and ask Grok too. They all say something just a little different ever so often. Navy leads in the represent. Oh my God, look at this, Junior. You are right on the mark with that one. It says Navy leads in representation of LGBTQ plus service members. That kind of explains a little bit of Pete. Said data indicates the Navy has the highest percentage of service members who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, according to a comprehensive study conducted by the RAND Corporation. 9.1% of sailors identify as LGBT, a notably higher figure than the other branches of service.
Well, we just might be better at telling the truth.
That might be. And it says the same study. The same study reported the following percentages for other branches: the Air Force at 5.3%, the Army at 5.5%, the Marine Corps at 4.4%, and the Coast Guard at 5.2%. Okay. It said, and the research highlighted that a significantly larger percentage of women across all branches identified as LGBTQ compared to their male counterparts. And that data is from 2015, by the way. So just so you know, obviously that's a little bit different.
Sense. I mean, if you're married, why would you want to really go into the service and go overseas and things like that? So it makes sense.
Yeah. So there we go. Junior, you nailed that one right straight up.
Yep.
Awesome. It turns out I was completely wrong. I thought it'd be the Marine Corps. They were at 4.4% in 2015. But that didn't account for the, as they say over in the pseudoscience section of our academic fields. Well, no, not academic fields, of our soothsaying fields. It was a social contagion. That's why all the transgender people started coming out late after 2015. Oh my God. Anyway, anything you want to talk about, Jamie?
No, I'm just in from the heat. I was out there doing a few things in the garage. I figured I'd come in here and cool off and maybe catch you a bit on live feed there.
Okay, well, appreciate it. Thank you so much, Junior. Thank you for being here, and everyone else who was watching clandestinely over behind the eyeball or didn't even bother to land on the page. Today for the midday thing, I think we had about, according to the eyeball thing, about 11 people came in at the midday thing. But like I said, you can't trust those numbers because you don't know who's just driving by and watching.
So,
I know a lot of people.
That's your highest time then is the midday or the nights?
It seems to be the midday is the higher one. It got the higher percentage of people coming in. I have a theory. It was because of all the saltpeter that they claimed they were putting into the water.
Oh yeah, that was the rumor when I was in there too. So yeah.
and to think I just drove by a little town in West Virginia called saltpeter. It's on Highway 52 between here and Huntington. Oh, and it is by a river, by the docks down near the end of the. Uh-oh. Now we're getting to be in conspiratorial territory. Everybody, see you tomorrow. Have a great evening and appreciate all of you. Thank you.
All right.